Hello and welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of December 4th. I'm Catherine Haleko and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
For a weekly episode to talk about parenting in a roundabout way, along with a little pop culture or pup culture, should we say? Because I hear you have an update on your dog boarding dilemma that you talked about a little while ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago I was talking about boarding the dog when we went away for a winter vacation, and I was worried about the place we had chosen, but I didn't really know what else to do, and it just seemed like there was nothing but bad choices. But we did commit to one place. I made a deposit. And then my sister-in-law and brother-in-law and their kids came to our house for a Thanksgiving race. I think we discussed that. And they brought their dog with them. And the two dogs got along amazingly. I was really worried about them bringing their dog because I'm like, what if they don't like each other? It's going to be really difficult. But no, they from the first moment, tails wagging, they were biting each other's faces and just having the best time. We took them out in the yard and they chased each other around, tails wagging. And then came back in the house and they were still doing the same thing, really having fun together. They were both covered with drool by the end of the time, but they seemed super happy. So my sister-in-law said, why don't we just take her when you guys go away? And then the two dogs can have fun together. It'd be good for their dog and be good for our dog. And so that's what we did. I canceled the boarder, and that is the plan now.
Yay.
I sure hope it goes smoothly. The most difficult part of the plan is that they live in Pennsylvania and we live in New Jersey, and so we have to get the dog there before we go to New York.
Right.
And there's different ways to do it, but all of them add considerable time to our trip.
Right.
So that is a wrinkle that still needs to be figured out, but it's worth figuring out.
Yeah.
To have her go stay with family. And then we hope that the two dogs continue to love each other for an entire week.
Right.
And it's not like, you go over to your cousin's house and it's real fun for like a day or two, and then you get tired of each other, and then you have some little squabble, and then they're tired of you playing with their toys and don't want you to touch their toys anymore. And your aunt has to run interference, and it's just, when can I go home?
Right.
So hopefully dogs are better than children in this respect and do not get sick of each other in 7 or 8 days.
Right.
And she behaves and is a good house guest and doesn't poop on the floor or, knock things down or do things that we allow her to do that other people would not allow her to do, like jump up on you.
Right.
She jumps up on us, but only when invited. The tap on the chest. She waits for the tap on the chest, and then she jumps up.
Well.
And the tap on the lap, and then she jumps up. But she doesn't like jump on you as you're coming up the stairs or anything.
Yeah, that seems.
And yet I feel that there are people who would say, do not allow your dog to do that. That's bad.
Yeah, but it's different if they're doing it on command versus.
It's in a spirit of play.
Yeah. Well, and it's so nice that your sister-in-law invited her.
Yes.
So that you didn't have to be like, do you think maybe you could?
I think she was appalled that I was going to take her to a boarder because her dog also has a rescue history. And so, I feel terrible about sending her someplace where she's going to be in a cage and think that she's been given up again. But, sometimes you have to make decisions that stink. Right. So I think she was maybe rescuing her from my bad decision. So,
well, the outcome is the same.
That's right. I waited a few days. I gave her a chance to think about it twice and say, what did I just volunteer to do? But she said, nope, we're all ready. The dog's excited. I don't know how the dog tells her she's excited, but.
Well, that's nice.
My dog, Layla, does seem to be looking around for that fun dog. There's just humans here now. Where's that dog? There was a dog here before. I'll play with that dog.
Yeah.
You guys are boring. Do your dogs have dog friends? Because this is the first dog friend Layla has had. And in fact, our past dogs never really had any interaction with other dogs except just very casual.
Yeah. Well, of course, they have each other.
That's true.
That's a big thing.
See, this is what's going to come of this, is that we're going to have to get another dog.
Yeah. It's really not much more to deal with than one.
That's what they
but
say about children. Have you found that to be true?
no. But anyway, yeah, they have each other, and also when they do, because they have to go to a kennel sometimes, and they stay together. You know, they have a shared room when they do that. So that is nice. And then we have neighbor dogs. We have two houses and yards that border our yard. And there's a point where, you know, sort of all three yards are close to one another. And those other two houses also have two dogs each. So there are 6 of them.
Oh my.
And yeah, it's pretty funny.
Do they ever get together in one yard?
Not all 6 of them. Occasionally one or two will come over.
Okay.
But
by invitation or just because they figured out how to get over the fence?
By invitation. Yeah, but I mean, one of the neighbors definitely wouldn't hesitate if there was an opportunity. She would seize it for sure. But one of them is a standard poodle, and so it's pretty big. And she's black, and my dogs are black. And when this poodle was a puppy, you know, she was like the size of my dogs, or even a little smaller. And she would come over sometimes and run around with them, and it was so fun. And then, but mostly my one dog would love playing with her, and my other dog would just go stand by the back door, like, please put me inside now. I don't want to deal with this puppy. So
yeah, I can see that.
It was pretty funny.
Well, we'll report back on how that Cousins Week goes. Hopefully with a happy story of doggy joy.
Yes. Well, so far so good. It's a nice update.
It's a good story so far.
Yeah.
And I guess a good story on Dancing with the Stars, would you say?
Yeah.
Shocking non-elimination.
Right. Did you see that coming? I mean, when they got down to 2, and the 2 were Jason and Sochi.
No, it wasn't Jason and Sochi. It was Ariana and Sochi. Allison was safe, then Jason was safe. And I was very happy. And then Charity was safe, and I uttered an expletive because she was the one I would have wanted to go instead of Allison.
Exactly.
And so it was Ariana and Sochi, and they were both crying and looking terrified.
Right.
And
You're right.
Then Alfonso said, psych. Everybody's staying.
So what's the fan theory on this?
Well, right away, I saw a lot of people saying, clearly the judge's favorite got the least votes, and so they decided at the last minute to do this.
Right.
Which is what sprung to my mind, too. Like, this is fishy, and it's unfair, because if somebody who should have gone home winds up getting higher than somebody who legitimately would have stayed in the end, that stinks. However, cooler heads prevailed. Many people, including Kristen Burt, who writes about the show all the time, have pointed out that this is a big show with a lot of moving parts that is done live. They cannot, at the last minute, decide, hey, let's have an extra couple. So it was always going to be a 3-hour finale. They needed to fill the 3-hour finale, so they decided to keep everybody.
Yeah,
but the way they did it is squirrely. They could have, right at the beginning of the elimination, said, hey, guess what? It's a party. Everybody's staying.
Right.
Which 5-person finale is dumb, but okay. The way they did it, and the 2 they put in the bottom, and the apparent anguish of those 2 has made a lot of people mad.
Right.
Now, could be they're just acting. Could be they said, you guys are safe, but act like you're really worried.
Yeah.
But it didn't look that way.
Right.
So if I were Val and Pasha, I would be having a word with the producers. What are you doing to our girls? Stop that.
Right.
It just left a really bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. But focusing in on the thing that gives me joy, Allison and Sasha are in the finals.
Yay!
I wish them to win, except that then people would hate their guts. But still, I don't know if Allison understands the degree to which she has become the GOAT with Harry's departure. And the person that everybody will focus their ire on if their particular person does not get high enough.
Right.
Or as high as her. Already seeing a lot of posts about, she is just stomping around the stage, she can't dance. But I thought she danced just fine. I thought she danced really good for a non-dancer.
Yeah.
And I think she's delightful and seems to be having a great time. And she's playing the game very well. She obviously has a huge voter base. And if she won, I would be very happy. I think she is a better exemplar of what this show is about.
Right.
It's lame to say that, but if it's about somebody who's never danced before, learning over the course of many weeks to dance, that's her.
Yeah, she's
These
doing
other people,
that.
I'm pretty sure everybody else in the finals had some dance training beforehand or some movement training or something.
Right.
Because they all hit the ground really fast. So, I don't know. I'm very happy about that. And it'll be a fun final. They're all fun to watch. They're all good. And there's nobody, well, I don't hate Charity. I just don't like a Bachelorette winning, but okay, she's fine. I didn't like her second dance. I didn't think it looked that good, but they gave it 10s, so what do I know?
Yeah.
But
she just, she just doesn't have a ton of personality.
She really doesn't.
Sometimes people on the show, you're just like, okay,
Yes. And Artem is also not my fave.
Yeah, me either. I mean, wasn't he the one who a couple years ago, a season or two ago, he wasn't on, and he and his fiance or wife or whatever, who was a former dancer, were like super salty about it.
Yes. He and Sharna were both left off the same season.
And we're just bratty about it. Like, don't do that.
I know. I'm surprised he was back. But, it's not like a big boo hiss, let them go. But.
Right. But that's, if you have to pick one, that would be the one.
She would be the one that I would have liked to have gone home in the semifinals. But whatever, everybody. Yeah. You get a final and you get a final. The dances were all good. The dances were all fun to watch. I have nothing particular to say about any of them. And the total scoring is pretty much the opposite direction of where I would put it amongst the four who were actually doing a lot of dancing. But Sochi and Val were great. Yeah. They could get 230s. And I thought Jason was underscored on the Viennese waltz, but what else is new?
Right. Yeah, I don't know why they continue to...
Yeah. I don't know. He seems to be doing very well to me. Maybe he's like parking in somebody's parking space and they're mad at him. But he didn't tip the hairstylist, and so now he's on the out list.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah. But listening to I've been looking around on social media, and it's so funny because you see just general social media people are down on down on Allison. And then you go on Allison's page and look at all the comments, and people are crying as she's doing so well and how much they love her. So everybody's got a faction.
Yeah.
She must be getting a ton of votes because they certainly are scoring her to leave.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the difference between her total score was 51, and then the next lowest was Jason and Daniela with 57. So
which is stupid because why were they
jump?
Low. Yes, it is. So clearly the judges are making their choice known, but I don't know. It makes me think that it would be interesting to have a show where you have all celebrities, legit celebrities who also have dance training, so that you could just have a who is dancing best competition, and they could get honest scores without shenanigans. Based on their dancing skill. And I would watch that show. That'd be a good show. Or you could have a show that was all celebrities that had no dance experience whatsoever. And then you could judge them against each other. Who is coming along best? Who's making the most of it? I would watch that show. That would be an interesting show. Dancing with the Stars is neither of those things.
Right.
So it's like, if you're going to have some people who are practically professional from week 1 and some people who are going to be learning how to count to 4 for the first 3 weeks,
Right.
you can't be mad if somebody's getting scored based on their improvement and somebody's getting scored based on their excellence. That's the only fair way to do it. Mm-hmm. And shut up, people who have trouble with that. Watch a different show. Lobby for the show that you want. But don't be complaining like, they're not as good, why are they still here? It's like, because they're humongously better than they were when they started, and your person is about as excellent as they were when they started, so yay.
And also, it's really has very little to do with their dance performance. It's all about the voting and everything else.
Yeah, well, it's both. You can't do it. You can't win just on dance performance.
Right.
You possibly can win just on votes, but I think you also have to have good gameplay.
Right.
Which is how Bobby Bones won.
Bobby Bones, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, I mean,
because I had never heard of him before, and I was voting for him by the end, so
Right.
it wasn't just the people he brought with him.
Well, and
I was voting mostly to spite other people, but still.
As we talked about before on this season, I mean, it seems like there's not even any point to having the judges and the scoring, because it's not making a difference. Like, it's...
Yeah. And also, to be fair, the judges aren't making a strong argument for their usefulness.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you see people who are at the top of the leaderboard get sent home. People who are at the bottom of the leaderboard keep staying. So, like, why do we have a leaderboard?
Yeah. There's ways they could alter that, and they're not. So they could they had a judges save for a while.
Yeah.
And then they stopped doing that. They could make the votes less important. They could do the votes only for certain parts, have it just be judges for the first 6 weeks and then have voters. But they're in a bad way because they need the votes to scare up the people viewing.
Yeah.
And to scare up excitement for the show. So they're kind of stuck.
Right.
But I don't know. It's fun to watch. Yeah. I would not mind if they just got rid of if the judges were actually making sense with their scoring, then I would be all for it. But they're not. And they're not even really trying anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if they were really saying, like, what we need to see in a cha-cha is XYZ. And, they did try that last year, right, where they had some sort of demo dances. But, when you can't see the connection to what they're saying and what you are watching, then...
And when you can't see connection between what they're saying and what the score is...
Right.
It just seems silly.
Yeah.
So transparency in scoring would be super helpful, because otherwise people just assume the fix is in.
Yeah.
So, it's a show not without its flaws. And there are flaws that can be fixed and flaws that are just a part of the setup.
Right.
But still.
But we keep coming back.
Music, dancing, it's fun.
Yep.
And, people will scream if Allison and Sasha win, but wouldn't it be cool if Sasha won finally? Every year we're being going, oh, Sasha, not your year, man. In fact, I said that earlier this season, saying, I'd love for him to win. Allison's not going to do for him, but maybe the Buffyverse is going to put him over. So, we'll see.
Yes, we'll see.
Not winning so very much this week are the people on the Gilded Age. There's a lot of setbacks and unfortunate occurrences in this episode. I felt like it seemed really much more plot packed than usual, and also much less Bertha than usual.
Yes, very little Bertha. You're right.
I think it was just that one scene where Mrs. Winterton appeared to triumph over her by getting the central box. I would have just, if I were Bertha, let it go, as she appeared to. But of course, George, as we suspected, had put a bunch of money into the net to keep it going. And he was able to call in that chip to a mortified looking, whatever the guy's name is,
Dickie.
who's the director. Dickie. Yeah, we're just going to call him Dickie.
Dickie
who just looked like
from Only Murders, yes.
excellent work in turning gray, sir, right before our eyes.
And also being stuck on a moving train.
Moving train.
He's like, but the train has left the station. Well, you'll just have to get up at the next stop, I guess.
George was pretty masterful with that negotiation.
Yes.
Unfortunate for Dickie that he was talking to George before he grew a conscience. So maybe on the way back it wouldn't have gone quite that way.
Right?
But
He might have changed his tune. We'll see.
So yes, George starts, goes to the union guy's house and sees how the people live and why aren't these kids in school and is there a school, and his who is that guy? Is that his assistant or his
secretary, Mr. Clay?
His secretary could not be less concerned by
I neither know
the workers
nor care.
Yeah, really. And he's there when the troops are going to shoot all the union guys so they can get the scabs in, all the strikers, and he just at the last minute tells them not to. That's so right. What is he going to do?
They're at ready and aim, and he tells them to stand down instead of fire.
Yes.
Partly, another reason is that he has met Mr. Henderson, the union man. He has met his son, who is now working for the mill and who is there at the protest. So George, like you said, grows a conscience and is unable to see this through.
I don't know. Is Bertha going to approve of him having a conscience? That could be inconvenient for her.
Right.
I think there's trouble ahead there, but let's not. We have so many other non-winners this episode. Well, it was 50-50 with the rector, whether he was going to be a bad guy or whether he was going to die. Yeah. So his dice fell on the die side. And as soon as they said his back hurt, it's like, oh, well, he's doomed.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be, but he's doomed.
Yep.
And indeed, it was cancer. Seriously. They couldn't have given her at least one episode of happiness.
Yeah. It was all off screen when she went to Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls.
Had a honeymoon, and
she had a happy honeymoon in between episodes, and now everything's gone. Although, speaking of growing a conscience or becoming a good person sort of overnight, you go Agnes. Yes. She's giving money to Jack for his clock. She immediately goes to Ada when she finds out, wants them to come to her house. She's like, who is this? And she was even telling Mrs. Astor, maybe you want to calm down about this opera thing, babe. Who is this woman? What happened to her? Did ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future come to visit her at night?
During the night. Now we just have to wait for Armstrong, the housekeeper, to turn it around.
Oh, she's still. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But all the staff pitching in to help Jack get his patent on his clock, which he then was not able to get. But I have this feeling he's going to keep trying.
Yeah.
I think he's going to keep going.
That's right.
One day he'll be a famous clockmaker.
That's right. We'll say we knew him when.
That's right. So his winning is in the future. Mm-hmm. Was not this time, not so much. But but perhaps the saddest, at least for this week. Oh, Marion. Oh, sweet Marion.
Oh, no. I mean,
you walk into that, sweetheart.
Is it ever a good idea to propose to someone in public in front of a group of people? Do not do that.
No, in Dashiell's case, it was a good idea because that's the only he was going to get her to say yes.
Yes, I know.
But as soon as he no, don't do it. Oh my gosh. And what can she do? She gives that romantic answer every man wants to hear. Well, if you want me to, I guess. Okay. And Ada, at least amongst the crowd, is looking like,
yeah,
hell no.
She knows that this is not good.
Oh, that was so very painful.
Yes.
And they're still encouraging us, I think, to see Marion and Larry as the end game.
For sure. Yes.
When he's talking to her later and she's completely forgotten that she's engaged.
Right.
I hope he takes encouragement in that. Oh, that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That.
Right. We'll deal with that later.
If it wasn't for the little girl, she could just go back and say, are you kidding me, man? Why would you put me on the spot like that?
Right.
I absolutely will not marry you. But, that little girl's going to twist the knife.
I feel like she can put it off by, I'm going to go live at the rectory and help Ada.
Yes.
Like, that'll
Please,
buy
Luke,
her.
hang on for as long as you can.
Right. That'll buy her a little time.
I'm saying Hail Marys all day to keep you alive.
Right.
If they're probably not Catholic, what is it? They're probably Anglican or something.
Yeah, they are. But that's
whatever they say. I'm praying all day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that was
cringe.
Just awful.
Cringe.
How will Agnes's unexpected heart of gold last long enough for Marion to ditch this dude and marry the rich guy across the street?
Right. Oh yeah.
Kill scandal. And then I am concerned about Mrs. Russell's new lady's maid. I fear that she is a plant from Mrs. Winterton, and that the young maid who has been displaced will catch on, but nobody will believe her because they'll think she's just bitter about it. This is my uncomfortable theory that I please be wrong. I very much want it to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the kind of thing Mrs. Winterton would do.
It is, although she has shown that she can't do these things well.
She can't do these things well. That's true.
But she did.
Which is why
she did, score a little triumph with the box at the opera.
Did. So. Yes. But I would have given that win away. But now that George has renegotiated with the guy, and now Mrs. Winterton's going to lose her box, she's going to be ticked again.
Right.
If indeed she does. And, but I mean, where's she going to go? She can't go to any other opera. This is her opera.
That's right.
You gotta dance with the opera you got.
Right.
Mrs. Astor has shut you down.
Right.
I wonder if Mrs. Astor is regretting that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then we have Peggy.
Yes,
being a bit, let's say, entangled with her boss.
Yes, indeed.
And confiding into Marion some of what's been going on.
Yes. That is an unfortunate situation, which I can't figure out how they back off from that.
Right.
He certainly doesn't seem to want to be backing off from that.
She's very delicately trying to say, like, maybe we shouldn't write all of our stories together.
Maybe we should never be alone together again. Can we get a couple of more staff people in here, please? Right. Oh, dear.
She's on to another story.
Yep.
About the schools.
Yes.
In New York this time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think the only other plot line was Oscar doing that thing that I don't understand what's going on. Is he being scammed by this guy? Is his intended in on the scam or not?
Right. I don't get it either. How
much money does he have? I mean, can he impoverish his mother with this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I would hope. Agnes is a sharp cookie. She wouldn't give him access to more money than she can afford to lose, would she?
I don't think.
Would she trust him, like with her funds?
I mean, I think she knows that he can be.
I hope.
He can.
Yeah.
So,
not be trusted.
yeah, in some things. So, but yes, I have all the same questions that you do. You know, is he scamming her? Is he genuinely trying to help her? Are they working on this together? Which that part
or is she scamming him?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess the most charitable expectation is that they're doing it together to get as much money as they can. So
I would hope so. But I mean, I don't generally care for Oscar as a character, but I would hope he's doing something clever rather than stupid. Yes, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we had a little more clarification about what exactly was going on there.
Right.
But maybe that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Suspense.
Right.
Oh, well. How many more episodes of this do we have?
There's 2 more. That's it.
2 more.
Yes.
Okay, enough time for Ada's husband to die, and Marion to either be rushed into marriage or
somehow get out of it.
Guilt him.
Yes.
Yeah. But oh, that was so unpleasant.
Mm-hmm. And I do have to give Louisa Jacobson credit for
yes,
playing it like, oh my gosh, what is happening?
Yes.
I am okay. Yeah.
I don't like this.
I don't like this at all, but I'm trying.
She hasn't necessarily discouraged him, but she hasn't particularly encouraged him either. And he hasn't. It's been pretty clear what he had in mind, but he hasn't broached it to her in any personal way.
Right.
This again, that he did it publicly because then she couldn't say no.
Right.
So, which means he's a bad dude. Or not good husband material at the very least.
Well, and they also gave him a line where he said, like, oh, these poor people, like, who cares, basically.
That's right.
Or he said, you're not a real teacher. That's what he said. So,
that's right.
Just to really, like, twist the nail so that we all know.
Okay, so we do think he's a bad guy then.
Yes, we know he's a bad guy now because he said that she's not a real teacher.
Yes. So clearly she will not be marrying him.
Yeah.
Something will happen to felicitate her escape.
Right.
And not a moment too soon. So next week we will watch Gilded Age Season 2, Episode 7, Wonders Never Cease.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can think of some wonders I would like to see if they're never ceasing. Like Dashiell saying, oh, never mind, I was just kidding.
Right.
And
and the good
starters.
Reverend having a miraculous recovery. Like Ada said, you'll share it from the pulpit.
That's right. Everybody prays for him and suddenly his cancer is gone.
That's right.
That would be a wonder. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's hold high hopes for that.
I feel as though the wonders are going to have something to do with the opera, though.
That's true. Mm-hmm. I wonder what wonders
That's right.
will never cease.
That's right.
And then Dancing with the Stars, season 32 finale. Would be a wonder if Allison and Sasha win. But, I wouldn't be mad about any of the finalists, really. So... see what happens. Actually, tonight, as you're listening to this,
That's right.
we will see what happens. And now, once again, it is time for Catherine's Library Find of the Week. What you got?
Yes, I'm back. I'm back with another crafty book, which is funny because I am the least crafty person that you've ever met. But this came through and it's called Folded. The book itself is called Folded Book Art, which if you Google that, then you get all kinds of tutorials on how to make folded book art. But this was a book that is the specific title. And so when you see books that have the pages artfully folded to make like a little picture or a word or something, it looks so cool.
This isn't just like the artistic placement of dog ears in a book.
No, which we've discussed before. Don't do that, please. Yeah, this is intentional, folding and manipulating of the pages to make very cool looking creations.
Ooh.
And as is typical with these kind of books, when you see one, you will probably see another one. So there are multiple books telling you how to do this, or just sort of highlighting cool projects. And you could like you would read a cookbook just without actually making anything from it. You could page through this kind of book and admire the pretty things that you are never ever going to do. Because I'm not.
What are these books that you're folding? Are they books that are especially made for that, or they're just saying go to your library and go to your bookshelves at home and pick out a book you haven't read and fold it up?
I think it's that, or I think people might, get them from thrift shops or
for the purpose
garage sales or that kind of thing.
It makes me feel like I'm folding a book. I'm not supposed to do that. That doesn't seem right. I've done it with magazines. I've done the make a Christmas tree by folding a magazine in a certain way and then taping it together. Mm-hmm. But those were popular in my youth.
Right.
Back when there were magazines. Remember magazines?
Yeah, I remember. I used to work there. I used to be employed in the magazine.
I guess to make those Christmas trees now, you have to fold up a book.
Yep. Or catalog. I am getting some catalogs this season, surprisingly.
Yes.
Not
I have made a sparse, sad little tree from the brochure at the resort of their many activities.
Right.
So it's a spare little. It's a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, but it's a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
But
well, we'll get into that actually.
That would make me nervous.
We'll get into that with our archive coming up. But anyway, we will have a link to this particular book, but there are many out there, and it's just fun to kind of take a peek at
I think
what people can do.
It would be super fun to look at pictures of them. I think I would feel very bad to actually do it, even though I have a great many books that are never going to be read again and never going to be opened, and probably becoming a thing of beauty would be a better end for them than sitting dust covered and warping on my shelf.
Right.
But still, books are sacred. You don't want to be.
I mean, you could go to a little free library and.
I guess, but it still seems disrespectful.
Yeah, I know it does.
Yeah. But no, I think it's cool though. I can see how it would be really nice, and it could make a book even more useful and valuable. But
you will not be doing it.
Oh well, many of my books are getting folded just by the way they're sitting, but anyway. Let's just leave this traumatic topic behind and go on a spin through the archives to see what we were talking about 1 year ago, 4 years ago, and 8 years ago this week. Golly, how long have we been doing this?
We've been doing this way too long.
We should be much more famous by now. I feel like we've possibly been getting less famous as we go along. We didn't start at a high note. Oh, well. So, 1 year ago this week, we were shouting out our kids' skills, things our kids had learned to do or things our kids were just strong in, like my son knowing when we had something for dinner, what week we had it, and we look back to where my husband writes stuff down and it's correct. Skills like that. Have your kids acquired any new skills in the past year?
Well, my son, just about a year ago at this time, went to the Technical Theater Olympics that they have. So every year the state has a theater festival. It's like forensics and theater, I think. Oh. And so their school does a one-act play, and it's competitive. They perform it a few times before a panel of judges, and based on that, they can qualify to go to this state festival, and then they perform it again there and can receive awards. And then as part of this whole event, they have this Tech Olympics, and they have to do things like sew on a button or set up props or do something with sound. And anyway, they had hang up a light, and he won it.
Wow.
For the whole state. And he's not even
Can he
a
sew on a
lighting.
button for himself if he his shirt one falls off his shirt, or just in
Well,
a technical
he just worked
setting?
on the lights.
Oh, okay, the lights.
He did the best in the lights. So
Wow.
that
That's
was very
great.
exciting. He wasn't
Yeah.
even, lights are not his specialty at all. But he won, and so he actually
Wow.
won a big, theatrical stage light for his high school
Wow.
by doing that. So that's a pretty cool skill.
Yes.
And that's
important.
new. Newish,
Yeah.
for him. So that's
Well,
exciting.
does he wants to get into the technical side of theater, right? Or directing he wants to do?
He wants to do directing or playwriting, so not specifically
But still,
working with lights, but it's still a cool.
behind the scenes as opposed to on the stage.
Right.
And
And
probably useful to know how all that stuff works if you're going to be directing, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, good
So
for him.
he did that, and then I don't know. My daughter, I think her a newer skill that she has is making boba tea. Because that's where she works, is at a boba tea place. So she knows how to make all those drinks. And she's also, of course, helping with the social media for her place of business. So
Nice.
making TikToks about bubble tea.
Wow.
Neither of these are things that I could do.
Yeah.
So
Nor would
so
want to.
I
So-
have to be proud.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what if we've got anything new. My daughter's learned how to make grilled cheese sandwiches. I got her a little electric
With her
griddle,
special
so she
new-
makes herself
yeah.
grilled cheese. They're a little soft.
Does she ever
for my
make it
taste.
for
I
you?
like them crispy. She does occasionally, yes.
Okay.
And I will gladly eat a grilled cheese sandwich in any form. I like mine super crispy. Hers are a little soft, but still delicious. Bread, butter, and melted cheese in any combination.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I'm not real picky.
Right.
But she makes herself eggs sometimes, microwave eggs, which I taught her to do. But she fixes stuff herself. Pretty soon she'll have her kitchen downstairs and she'll be able to just make what she wants to make. If we decide to plug in the oven, we still have not decided that yet. It's an elderly gas oven and stove that's disconnected because I was smelling gas, and so it's now like, should we hook it up back up again? Or just leave it be. She can come upstairs and use the oven. It'll be fine. But my son, I don't know. He's been working at Home Depot for quite a while and seems to be doing pretty well. So I guess he's picked up the skills necessary to help people load things into cars and tie Christmas trees onto roofs and such like.
Right.
He's definitely learned how to use a credit card to buy things from a vendor.
From the vending machine.
That is an awesome skill he has acquired, to the degree that the front of his credit card is peeling off. So pretty soon he won't be able to do that anymore because he
Right.
can't slide it in. Try to see how we get a new one. It's just like wear and tear,
Right.
excessive wear and tear from being slipped into vending machines. But oh my goodness, has he been doing that a lot? So entire credit card is like the same charge over and over and over and over again.
Right.
But good for him.
Yeah.
He can buy himself potato chips.
That's right.
Yay! And goodness knows what else. So, let's see.
So what about our own skills? Because we also
Yes,
talked about
this
that. That was
was
our
8 years ago.
That was our
we
8
talked
years
about
ago.
our own skills. Golly, what have I gained a skill in? Do you have something that you picked up?
way back 8 years ago. My skill was making a competition ready
that's right, bun.
hairstyle.
Yes, you are no longer
so-
on call for that.
I don't have to do that anymore. Yeah, I think it's studiously ignoring the online grades. I'm good at that.
You're a stronger mom than I am. I was, are they up yet? Are they up yet? Are they up yet?
Yeah. Recently, my sister asked me, like, well, how's he doing in school? I'm like, don't know. I cannot look for my own
Ignorance
mental
is bliss.
mental health. I cannot look.
And there's nothing you can do about it anymore. So
There's
no point in
nothing I
looking.
can do. Yeah. And with the high school ones, I was so anxious about it because, he was really at risk. But it didn't mean anything until the very, very end.
Yeah.
So there was no point in looking at it because it could completely change,
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
or worse.
Yeah.
So, like, if you looked at it and it was good, so what? You can't relax because it could all fall apart.
That's right.
And if you looked at it and it was bad, like, well, that's bad, but it might not stay bad. Who knows?
Oh, man. Welcome to parenthood, people.
Yep.
This is the way it is. Always, always.
Yep.
I am trying to acquire the skill of not caring and just letting my kids have their lives and not feel like I'm responsible for everything. That it's okay for them to make mistakes and it's their life and what they want to do is what they should do. It's less that I'm not in charge anymore than I don't need to be in charge anymore.
Right.
After years and years of having to make decisions for them and having to figure things out, and maybe this worked, maybe this didn't, I can turn things over to them to
Right.
a large degree. Not entirely, not as much as maybe for some kids their age, but still pretty much. I need to just care less.
No problem.
I have not quite developed that skill, as my daughter will tell you,
Right.
but I'm working on it. I'm attempting to acquire it.
Yeah.
To care about the things that are important, which is just that they're neat kids and they're working and they can work things out themselves.
Right.
And if my son tells me he wants to do something, we can do it. If he doesn't, we can not do it. And I can let my daughter go move downstairs where we don't see what she's doing every single minute, and that will be a good thing.
Right.
So it's hard when they're still living in your house
It's hard.
and when they have some issues that cause you to question their decision-making skills. But you know what? Pretty sure everybody who has a kid in their 30s questions their decision-making skills. So it's really, look at them. They're typical. Yay. Stand down, Mom. My mom couldn't stand down, and I'm having a hard time with it. But that's the skill I am pursuing. That would be a super parenting skill to have.
Yeah.
Live your life, honey. I'll be over here making podcasts.
It's a tough one. It's very tough, but I'm proud of you, Terry.
Thank you. Well, maybe wait till I just gave my daughter a lecture yesterday, so it's not going so well, but maybe it's
I mean,
good enough.
it can't all happen at once.
Yes. These are long-held habits, and just the fact that I had to be so involved when they were in school. Then
Right.
this is me less just giving her lectures.
Yeah.
I'm not going to her workplace and talking to her boss, which I have a strong urge to do. Such a strong urge to do.
Exactly.
But I'm being good. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Yes.
At least
And the other thing that we were going to look back on was an episode called The Good Enough Christmas.
Yeah.
Back in 2019. And, you already mentioned fashioning a tree out of a brochure.
That's
So,
what we do. Yes, we go to this resort for Christmas, a timeshare, and I make the little tree from whatever multi-page paper product I can find, and we buy each other presents, cheap presents from the gift store, and put them under the tree. And that is our extent of our Christmas decorating. It's great. It's fun. And
Yeah, I mean,
we
it's
don't decorate
fun.
the house at all because we're not going to be here
Right.
for much of the time. So just, we've nobody cared about it but me. And so all I had to do was stop caring about it, and then good enough.
You're all there.
Yeah.
Well, but you've made a new tradition, and it's
Yes.
working for you.
Yes,
so
it is.
I think that's great.
So yeah. So are you now that what are you guys going to do for Christmas? Is everybody coming home, or are you going to look for another charming Airbnb?
No. Well, the kids are coming home. My daughter's coming home specifically because she has jury duty.
Oh, well.
She
Thank you, State of Wisconsin.
Right. She would have come home anyway, but she kept getting
Now I'm
called.
legally required to. Darn.
Yeah. She kept getting called, and she put it off a couple of times, and then
Yeah.
they were like, you have to do this, and also the odds are that she will actually have to do it are small,
Right.
but she still has to be like on call.
Yes.
So she'll be coming home, the week prior, because that's the week that she has jury duty, and we can all be pretty sure that no one's gonna have a jury trial that kicks off on December 20th, but whatever.
Yeah.
She still has to come home,
Right.
or she still had to make her plans
like
according to.
Doesn't this sound like a Hallmark movie?
Yes.
She had to come home for jury duty, and then in the jury pool, she saw that guy she knew in high school.
Right.
And
Exactly.
they had
So
different opinions on the case, and they fought about it the whole time. But then at the end,
exactly.
love.
I see it for
Okay.
sure.
Yep.
So that's happening. And then right after Christmas, she's going back to Michigan because her boyfriend's sister is getting married.
Oh my.
So she's going to that. And then the rest of us are going to go visit my family, my parents and siblings. So, or some of my siblings.
Where?
In
In
California.
California? Whoa. That's not just like a over the river and through the woods. That's
No. We're doing it. So,
plane flight, as we discussed last week.
yes. So that's exciting.
Say hello to my home state for me, although it's not that part of not that part is
Right.
not my home state, but still.
Right. Yeah, so that's exciting. I mean, it'll just be 3 out of 4 of us because my daughter won't be coming on that trip, but we'll get time with her before, and
Yes.
but yeah,
Quality time with your son. I'm sure he'll enjoy that.
he will. But yeah, we were sort of like last weekend, the weekend after Thanksgiving, when we were all home. My son was home. My daughter was not here, but my son was, and my husband was kind of like, should we get a tree? Like, is now the time we get a tree? And I'm like, well, it's kind of early to get a tree, like, because we get a live tree, and it's a little early, in my opinion, to get it now. But then the two of them won't be home until basically a week before. So I guess we kind of need to get it before they get here. But it's depressing to me to decorate a Christmas tree by myself.
That's true. Even if you have like proper musical accompaniment, you can play.
I mean, that's
Glass of
that
wine,
helps.
maybe if you imbibe on that. I don't, but I will.
Yeah, the music helps for sure.
Yes.
So
Do you decorate the front of your house?
a little bit.
Do your neighbors?
Yes. So on my street, it's definitely like lights.
Because you have the big street by the park that everybody goes down. So.
Right. So yeah, we do some lights, and we have most of that up already, which is very early for us. I mean, typically we would always be gone for Thanksgiving, and we'd come home and the whole block would be done, and we'd be like, oh God, we're so behind. So we have most of it. There's like this organization, a kind of a youth group scouting, similar to scouting organization that sells wreaths, and we always buy from them, and those got delivered before Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
And so we always get they call them porch pots, like a little potted arrangement for the porch. Because one year a kid came to our door selling these wreaths, and we were like, oh yeah, we always get like a big giant wreath and hang it on the screen porch and put lights in it and stuff. And she said, you know what would look really good is a couple of porch pots. And we were like so impressed by her salesmanship that we just bought the porch pots. Now we always buy the porch pots.
Aww.
So we have 2 porch pots, and then we have
inflatables.
No inflatables.
They're huge here.
Yeah,
huge physically and also huge popularly. And also something that's like a movie on the front of your house. Yes.
I saw one of those. There's one pretty close to me, and it's a countdown to Christmas. It's like how many more days until Christmas? And it's been up there since there were like 50 days till Christmas. I was like, slow down. Like, you're stressing me out. I don't need
Some people are very into it.
Yes.
We have a few streets here by us where there's like house after house after house has the inflatables and the lights and the movie and all this stuff one after the other. And they're not like your street, in plain view. They're sort of side streets, and I'm thinking they're just doing this for each other. These people just dig it, and they want to see who can have the coolest display. Yeah, and so it's sort of fun taking our walks now because it's dark by the time we get out, and all these lights and things and stuff, and it makes us feel, a little overwhelmed by it all, and also extremely glad that we don't do that nonsense.
Right,
but still. Wow, some people are super into this.
Yes.
And, good for them, whatever gives you joy.
I have a friend who came into a whole ton of inflatables, like for every holiday. It was like a dentist's office that was going out of business, or some business that had all these and was like basically giving them away, and somehow she ended up with them. So she has this ridiculous collection of inflatable things.
Oh my, it's a responsibility. She has to put them all out.
She does.
Oh, speaking of inflatables, I want to mention last week we talked about Walker Hayes getting his kids Christmas inflatables when he made it big with Fancy Like. I just want to mention that he has made a Christmas version of Fancy Like called Fancy Like Christmas. And a video for it featuring all his adorable kids and his wife and a bunch of inflatables and a whole lot of other silliness.
Right.
And in general, I sort of object to, really, man, you're going to make a Christmas version of your big hit. Is this okay? But the video is very fun, and his family is very cute. So I will allow it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can search for it on YouTube. Get a little Christmas spirit without actually having to do anything yourself.
Right. And we'll link it up. So
yes.
And then we'll say that's it for the Parenting Roundabout Weekly Roundup. You can find all our episodes on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. You can also talk to us on our Facebook page, on Instagram, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat. And please visit our Amazon shop at amazon.com/shop/mamitude, where you can find links to a lot of things we've talked about over the years. We'll see you back here next Tuesday. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Goodbye, everyone.